Hello, my name is Bobby Benton, aka Serendipitously Bobby, and welcome to Life Essentials, the Self Healer's Journey podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Life Essentials, the Self Healer's Journey podcast. I am Bobby Benton, aka Serendipitously Bobby, and I am the host. So, guys, first I want to apologize for being a little late, but I do want to go ahead and just jump right in and introduce our wonderful guest, Miss La Teresa Lynette Jefferson. Hi, La Teresa.
Hi.
So before we jump in with our interview, I want to share her lovely bio with you. Dr. La Teresa Lynette Jefferson is a loving mother and wife. She attended Wayne County Community College and received an associate's degree in general studies specializing in mental health in the summer of 1999. In 2009, she was accepted into Lawrence Technical University. On December 21st, 2011, she completed her Bachelor's of Science degree in psychology. She completed her Master's in theology and doctorate in Christian counseling, so marriage and family. She's an expertise in that at Midwest College of Theology. Today, she is a mentor for more than 40 children. She started a nonprofit called JJP Community and Youth Services in 2003. Which focuses on youth between the ages of 9 and 17 years old. So welcome, Dr. Jefferson.
Hi.
So I just want to give some backstory, y'all. So I met I like Dr. Jefferson.
That's fine.
So I met Dr. Jefferson at an event, and she signed up to be on the show. And when she shared her story, it touched my heart. And we decided to call it the comeback. So right now, Dr. Jefferson, let's deep dive into where your journey began into you becoming Dr. Jefferson. So let's go back to childhood. Let's take it all the way back.
Okay.
Okay.
Whew. So we're gonna go back, and I guess I'm gonna just dive right in. I'm not gonna take no shortcuts and go around the corner. It started in November 83, I want to be exact, 1983. I was 11 years old, and I was up late at night watching TV, watching my favorite scary movie, which was It.
Oh.
And as I was sitting there watching it was late at night. I was up by myself. I was sitting in a chair next to my mother's door, and I heard the bed squeaking. And as an 11-year-old, you brush it off because you think it's your parents,
Doing what they do.
Doing what they do.
Uh-huh.
And so later on, had to be about 1 or 2, my sister came home from a skating party, and I told her, I said, I think something wrong with mama, because I peeked in the room, and when I peeked in the room, I kind of seen her husband with a pillow, and it was over her head, and, that was my vision of what I saw.
Uh-huh.
And so we said, okay, we're going to wait until he get up and go to work, and we're going to come back and check on her. So he get up normally at 4 o'clock and go to work. So we woke up at about 5 or 6, and we went to check on her. She didn't wake up. So we said, okay, we'll wait later. But when we woke back up later on, probably between 9 and 11, she was foaming at the mouth, and she was already gone.
Okay.
And so we had to go to the pay phone because we didn't have a house phone and call and get help. So that's where the journey began. But before that, not only was that the struggle with my mother, but her husband had been molesting me from the ages of 9 to 11. When he got out of prison, my mother moved him in, and we moved to Muskegon. We were staying in Highland Park, but we left Highland Park and we moved to Muskegon, Michigan, to stay with him and his family where he was from. And so that's where that began. And so once my mother passed, we moved back to Detroit and stayed with our grandmother.
Okay.
Well, I had struggles all in there. And so I guess that's why working with kids is my passion, because I understand the struggle. I understand the need for something, the need for that extra attention, the need to be around people, you know, that understand where I'm coming from. And so I always focus as an adult towards kids, trying to help them and let them know you can make it be sad outside of this journey. Well, throughout my childhood, I got in trouble. I stole from the stores and was just doing a lot of mischievous things as a kid. We went to counseling. Everything I told the counselor, she went back and told my grandmother. So I thought counseling was out of the question. I would never go back to counseling, which I didn't. It took a long time to get counseling. And I think I always was a straight A student, straight A and B student, because I memorized stuff.
That's good to have a good memory.
Good memory, yes, but it was a bad thing because my uncle, later on, he was in the military, he adopted me. And so I moved out of state with him, and I was struggling with some of the schoolwork. I was passing the classes, but I was still struggling. He realized that I couldn't read.
Oh, okay.
I was passing those classes, but I couldn't read. And so I probably had to be in the 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade, 7th grade probably. 7th grade when he realized I couldn't read. So that's when I started working on, you know, reading. He was helping me with my reading. Well, he got shipped to Germany, and he said, so you want to go to Germany with me or go back home to Detroit? Because we was in Washington, D.C. And I said, oh, I'm going back home to Detroit. Should have went with him. But that wasn't God's plan.
Yeah.
And so I went on, came back to Detroit, got in some more trouble, went to Central. I ran track, cross country. My 11th grade year, I was being rebellious all around, was coming home late. And my grandma was like, if you can't come here on time, you can't come here at all. So I don't know, we got to back and forth arguing, and I just threw my stuff out the window and was on my own. And that was at age 15, and I just never looked back. And while I was at school, I was still going to school. I had stayed around the corners at my friends' houses and going to school and stuff. But
Sorry.
I was going to Central. It was my 11th grade year. And I stole the teacher credit card that I worked for. And we went shopping at Macy's. And I got away with it. But the next day, one of our friends was like, oh, my friend having a baby. She don't have any baby stuff. So we went back to the store.
Oh.
Got caught. Got kicked out of Central. And I was high school dropout at that point because I was like, I'm not going to another school. I play sports. I'm not about to be at the rivalry school, you know, to do the work. So I dropped out of high school. I got pregnant when I was 17, going on 18. And got married when I was 19 with my first husband. And I ended up getting pregnant again, having 2 kids. That was it. And with my second kid, I decided, I need to get my life on track. I went back to, I went to Highland Park, 4-day cosmetology and nail manicurist program. I went there and I got my manicure license, went to the board, passed it, and I was like, okay, now I can go back to high school. So once I did that, I went to Trumbull Adult Day High School. I had 8 classes that I needed to graduate. I took the 8 classes. The kids went to school with me, and I still graduated with valedictorian because my grades always was
Because you smart.
My grades was good. I just was too smart for my own good. So that was that childhood drama. So once I got my high school diploma, then I was just living life, got my high school diploma, living life, and just doing all my things, what I wanted to do. I was married, partying, having fun. And I said, well, let me try to go to school. And so I think I went to Eastern first. I tried to take a couple of classes at Eastern. I did 2 semesters there. And I was driving back and forth to Detroit to Eastern, and that was just too much of a toll. And I just said, forget it. And then that's when I went to WC3. But meanwhile, I was at WC3. I was out partying and making counterfeit money.
How'd you do that?
That's when it was easy. Like, now you can't. It's hard to make counterfeit money now.
Okay, don't tell. Stop listening.
Don't, because I'm not going to tell you.
She's not going to tell you I'm
So
scared.
I made counterfeit money, and I was getting away with it good. We was on the road. One person was at her. I gave the money to her. She was at work, working at Myers, and she got caught with the money, and she told. And so she was calling my phone, and I was like, oh, this girl is caught. And so she's like, can you bring some? I was like, do I take this money to her or let them come watch me? And so I just went up to the store, took the money to her, and they caught me right then and there.
Oh.
They was waiting for me to bring her the money. And so, of course, I caught a federal case, and I had to, I did 21 months. 18, I did I did 11 months then. I did 5 months in Lexington, Kentucky, and then I did 6 months in Texas, O'Brien, Texas, for boot camp.
Okay.
The boot camp program. Came back home. I said, okay, I definitely got to get my life in order. And that's when I went to WC3, got my associate's degree, and then start moving forward in life. Got that associate's degree, and then started at Lawrence Tech. But in between, I got a divorce from my first husband. I met my new husband.
Hey, he over here, y'all.
And we began dating, and we got married. We started dating in November, and we got married. No, we started dating in September, and we got married in January.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And y'all still together.
Yes. And that was 17 years ago.
Well, congratulations.
Yes. And we, during that struggle, during that time, I started the nonprofit organization to help the youth. And then I went to Lawrence Tech, got my bachelor's. There we are with the bachelor's and working with the youth and everything. So I took some classes at U of D, working on my master's. I was going to get a master's in counseling. And then after I got that master's, I left U of D. I went to nowhere for a moment. I joined Zeta Phi Beta sorority while I was at U of D in my graduate program. And then I was just living life, working, running a nonprofit and everything, referring people to different organizations and everything. Bam, got in trouble again. That's my middle name, helping somebody. But I helped this tax office. I referred some people to the tax office, and the young lady had stole some people identities in their companies and was putting fraudulent stuff up. And when she got caught, they asked her who referred all the people to her. And she told them I did. And so because I already had a criminal history, I got another charge.
Oh, boy.
Caught with conspiracy to commit tax fraud with the young lady. And so that I did 21 months. And when the judge sentenced me, I contacted the university and I said, this is my time to get closer to God, to get grounded and on solid ground. And so I contacted the school. I said, can you correspond with me while I'm in prison so I can get my master's and my doctorate degree while I do this time? And the director of the school was happy and ecstatic, and he worked with me hand in hand.
That was God.
And I came out And I tell you, when I got that master's and I was finished with that work, and then I started that doctor work, and I'm working on that doctor work, and I finished that. And as I began, he said, okay, you got to get your specialty. And I'm like walking, and I'm working out, and I'm talking to myself and working out and praying and fasting. And I said, okay, God, where do you want me to do this? Because I've always worked with kids. What area do you want me to center my doctorate in? And he said, marriage and family. I said, no, you don't want me to do that. Because I already been married before. Then this is my second marriage. Why do you want me to do marriage and family? And I prayed some more, and it was marriage and family. And thinking back, my first marriage wasn't for me. It was because of that foundation that we was raised in back then. If you have kids, you got to get pregnant, you got to get married, and you can't have kids out of wedlock. So thinking on all of those levels, that's why I got married. And that was the worst decision that I made, because I was married for 13 years with that marriage. And I probably was faithful 2 of those years, and 11 of those years I had a boyfriend on the side.
Oh,
so
Lord.
that's why I was like, God, is that you sure that's what you want me to be with this? And so I'm very honest, and I'm to the point, because I cannot allow anybody to tell on me. I can't allow anybody to hold secrets or things over me. So I've always walked in the truth. If you ask me, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is what it is. I did it. I've done it. I've been there. But it was all growth that God I had to go through everything that I went through in order to get where I'm at today.
Your battle test.
Yes, God had these paths lined up. I could have deviated from them if I was doing a stricter path, but God already had set these paths forward for me. And I chose counseling because of my childhood, going to a counselor and a counselor telling all our business. And it took a long time for me to get over it, because I was hurt. You know, the main hurt was, why would my mother marry a man that was incarcerated and bring him home, and you got 3 daughters? Why would you do that? You don't know what this man is capable of. And so I was very angry for a long time, and that's where a lot of that hurt came from. That's where a lot of that rebellion and animosity and all that came from, because I was holding on to that. And I remember when I was at the boot camp, they had me do a counseling session, and it was called Surviving Trauma. And they said, write a letter to your mama telling her how you feel. And I would say, she did, so why does it matter? But that did help me to express and get that all off my chest, because yes, that was a big barrier for me, because I was very angry at that. And to this day, like, the man, I don't know, this man, my sister still kept in touch with him, because she felt there was a father figure to her. He didn't do things to her that he did to me.
Oh, Lord.
And I never told her until we was an adult, so she didn't know. So she still kept in touch with him. And I remember when I came home from prison, this just still stick with me. And she said, well, I was in a halfway house, and she said, well, I gave such and such your phone number, so he wanted to talk to you. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I gave him your number. I said, yeah, okay. And so he called me, and his first day, hi, are you okay? I said, yeah. And so he's like, well, I just wanted to check on you and see how you've been doing and everything. You sure you okay? I guess he was trying to get me to bring that up. But I was not going to allow him to have that power and control. You can't have that control, because I've already dealt with it. So I never allowed him that justice to get that off his chest. But I was able to, he called us and he said, well, I'm coming in town. Can I come over your house, me and my wife and my son? I said, sure. And I allowed him, his wife and his son, to come sit at our table, and they even stayed a night in my house. But that's that growth, because I had walking with God and him allowing that stuff. Some people say, I would have did this, I would have did that. You don't know until you go through that. You don't know what God has planned for you and how strong you are.
So did you forgive him? Or was it just like,
I didn't tell him I forgave him, but I had forgave him so I can heal and move on. Because forgiveness is everything. You cannot hold on to anything. You hold on to that, you're going to be stuck. You're going to keep saying, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. And you don't have to. You don't have to look back. address the situation and move forward. You can't give that person the satisfaction. Because when you give that person the satisfaction, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be angry talking to that person. So I never, that's the past to them. They done moved on. You still holding on. That's your baggage.
Yep.
They don't have baggage because they don't think they did anything wrong.
Yep.
And so that's just how that is when you deal with that type of situation.
Now, have you forgiven your mom?
Yes.
You did?
Yes. It took a long time. Yes. It just because not understanding. And as an adult, now I say, okay, we're looking for these love. We're looking for this. We're looking for this, what we're not getting from there. So then, okay, now I got to forgive you because you was looking for something to make you whole.
She was operating in her wounds.
Yes. And that was that generational trauma.
Yes.
That we carry on. Especially Black families carry on that generational trauma. That secrets. Those secrets. Those secrets.
Secrets make you sick, people.
Yes. Yes.
I want us to talk about this. You said when you were a child, the therapist told your secrets. That right there, let's deep dive into that because that is so important that therapists understand unless it's like when you're ready for the therapist to tell, then tell. But it's like,
if it's not harming somebody or harming yourself, then that's supposed to be between you and that therapist. And that therapist didn't understand that.
She was looking at it like, oh, I want to get him. But it's like, okay, this is said and done. And we're going to deal with this. But she could have found a different way to address
but
it.
she was telling everything. It don't matter if we was like, oh, it was a bad day at my grandma's house and this and that. She was telling every little thing. And so that made that counseling. But see, that's why that's that therapist theory with the Black people don't want to go to a therapist. Well, I'm going to see the therapist.
Because they
going to tell my business. They don't need to know my business. Keep that in the house.
You want to hear something? So I have heard before that some African Americans don't want African American therapists. I have heard this before because it's like 6 degrees of separation. And I've been working in the human service field for a long time. I have been guilty of being in the hallway and we all around each other talking about clients and stuff. No, we ain't supposed to.
Not supposed to.
So it's like you don't know if your stuff is safe. Like, so it's like I kind of understand, but really any therapist can. But a good therapist is not going to share. But it's like you don't know if grandma gonna go home and beat the bricks off you.
Exactly. You don't know what that situation is at home.
How did your grandma handle, like, when she heard what happened in the therapy sessions, how did she handle that?
Well, she used to, I love my grandma. She dead and gone now. But she used to, I don't know if it hurt her but like, let me give you an example. Like, she would wake us up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Wake us up, help her cook food, deliver the food, then come back home, get ready for school. And so that, to us is trauma because we're not used to that. We like, right. So we telling the counselor because we just trying to relieve that stress. That's an instant. And they, in return, telling it back to her. So she like, okay, I'm going to make them get up and do this. I got kicked out of school one time. Let me tell you, I got kicked out of school. I was going to Winterhalter. I got kicked out. And I had to dig up the whole field next to our house.
How big is this field?
The whole field. Right now, I got 2 decks, a hot tub, a big playground set on that field.
Oh my God, it was like an empty lot. Oh my God.
I had to dig that whole lot up because I got kicked out. And I was in the 8th grade. So trust me, the different traumas that you have, you want to tell your counselors, and sometimes us as counselors, we have to hold on to that information. We truly have to see the inner self.
Yeah.
We don't. Sometimes we think we helping the child by saying that to the parent, but we're not. We're not helping the child at all because that child want to feel safe.
Yep.
That's the purpose of coming to a counseling session, to feel safe.
Yep.
And if I can't feel safe in this surrounding, why should I talk to you?
Yep.
And so
Well,
That's where my whole thing always was with counseling. And then here I am. I got so many, I got like 20 god kids. Because my daughter would not spend the night at people's house when she was a kid. She just would not. All her friends came over. So I got all these extra god kids, all these aunties and aunties, so many kids.
Space.
And everybody comes, and that's just how it was. The parents and talk. And I remember, I'm just gonna tell you, I'm working with these kids. When I started the nonprofit, I had got the juvenile detention from the what's that agency on? It was on 6 Mile.
Was it Ennis? No.
Not Ennis.
CCMO?
It was they worked with they was the part of the juvenile probation department, and I worked with those kids, and they come to the 6-week summer camps because I used to do 6-week summer camps, and I'll be working so hard with the kids, and I see all this progress, and then when they come back the next year, I got to start all over again
because the parents didn't.
Because it's not just the kid.
Yep.
It's problems within the household.
Yep.
And that's why God pushed me towards that family, and marriage and family, because I seen that disconnect between that family and the kid. So.
And that, I want to talk about that because that is so important. Because in my day life, that's it. I'm not the traditional. I'm a probation officer and a juvenile, and I do things differently than a lot of people. I work with the parents, so when I'm doing social histories, I'm working with y'all doing this work too, and I tell them that. And it's like if you don't heal, it's like what's the point of even putting them on probation if the whole family not gonna heal? Because a lot of times the parents want to say, "Oh, it's just the kid.
No,
you raised this kid."
Yeah, you had your own trauma that you bring to the plate.
Yeah.
And my generation, us 45 to 50-year-olds, we said we're not gonna bring our kids up the way our parents brought us. We don't want to do this. We're not gonna make them do that. And we got some bad kids right now.
Yeah.
They are so disrespectful. they don't mean to, but that's how we raised them because we wanted them to be sufficient.
We gave them a voice.
We gave them a voice. We let them speak, and stuff that we wasn't able to do, we allowed them to do. And now we like, I should have just did you the way we. Why are you talking like that? Why you ain't cleaning up? Why you not doing this? And you know it. My dad sent my uncle, which I said who adopted me. I call him my dad, and he sent a little message out from one of those, somebody speaking, and the man was saying that the new generation coming up is raising a bunch of dummies.
Okay.
And I just was looking like, oh God. But us, now we grandparents. So now we got to feed that stuff that we was taught to our grandkids because we thought we didn't give it to our kids.
Yeah.
And our kids don't know.
But we just wanted them to have a better life than what we had. We didn't know what we was doing.
We didn't know what we was doing.
We didn't
we know we was creating a disaster zone. We know.
But the thing is I like how now that it's like times are changing and therapy is more accepted, whereas to me, COVID was a reset button.
Yes.
Because it's like, I felt like I was like, let me sit everybody down so they can get it together because I see y'all truly going astray. And so many people now, and there's so many men now are going to therapy and is trying to heal and set standards and boundaries and things for themselves. So,
COVID put you in a spot where you had to face reality. You had to face whatever was in your household because you couldn't go no place else. You couldn't do nothing else but sit there and accept it, and now you got to deal with what you created. That's exactly what COVID did.
So if you marry somebody you ain't like, well, you about to get to like them.
It's time.
You're about to get to like them.
Tell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Time will tell. Because a lot of times people work different shifts and all that stuff. It's like, I'm enamored with you while we're dating and stuff. Or, oops, I got you pregnant. I'm going to marry you. But we both working. We out living, taking care of kids. But then we in that space together, 24/7. It's like, I don't even like you.
Why did we start dating?
Yeah. Can we put this baby back up there, though?
Exactly. That is exactly.
So I do want to ask you too. So your uncle that took care of you, did you end up going back to live with him at any point?
No, once I ran away at 15, I never went back.
You were just like, I'm out.
Never went back. I just moved back into the childhood home because when my grandmother passed, we was gonna sell it, and I bought it, and we moved back into the childhood home.
Oh,
So
wow.
That's where we're at now. Yeah.
You a strong one.
Yes. Yes.
You are strong. But you know what? I like the title Come Back For You because it's like you went through so much and ain't no shame in you.
No.
None.
This is who I am.
And you're vulnerable, transparent, and like you got the lesson. You got the lesson. And I just want to say kudos to you. Like
Thank you. A lot of people, when I was sending the message, they was like, I didn't realize you had your doctorate. I was like, yeah. But because it took me a long time to get out that, because you don't have to call me doctor, because I don't want people to think that I'm thinking that I'm better than them, because a lot of people think that, but that's not, that's not my MO. So I hadn't been using it.
you were just trying to be humble.
Yeah, I hadn't been using it. And somebody said, you worked too hard not to use that. Why are you
Exactly.
not using that? You did all that work. Somebody said, did you get an honorary or did you get it? I said, I got it. I did the work. All
Dr.
of the work.
Jefferson.
Yes, all of the work. And so, yes, and it's accepting that title, and allowing it to start using it, putting it on stuff, putting it in, making it look real, be real,
Was
because
some of
it
that
is real.
imposter syndrome for you?
For the doctor putting that out there?
Yeah, or just being comfortable, like, to just stand in it, like, okay, I really do have these gifts and talents and stuff, or was it like, Because sometimes that fear can be that too.
Yeah, it can. For the marriage and family, yes, it took me that imposter. It's like, I don't feel comfortable to say this is what I got. Do I have it down pat? But yes, I do, because I've experienced it.
Yes.
And I've experienced it not once, but twice. I experienced the childhood trauma.
Yes.
I experienced the adult trauma.
Yes.
God has taken me through a lot of things so I can be right here at this point to help anybody that needs to hear these words.
Yep.
Because you don't have to be stuck.
Yep.
You don't have to be stuck in your trauma.
And you can relate. So that's the thing. A lot of times when people get become therapists, I know some people, they think because they're good at helping problem solve a little this or that, I could be a therapist. But then when they actually get in it, it's like you gotta really
They realize it's hard.
It's hard, and you have to be able to relate, and you have to have a good level of empathy and compassion and kindness for people. You gotta really operate in the fruits of the spirit.
Yes.
When you are a therapist, because you are dealing with somebody else's life. And it's like people don't realize that's a lot of power to have, because you have somebody looking up to you to help guide them. But then if you're not healed as a therapist, you over here pouring your toxicity into somebody else. And I tell people this, just because you got a degree don't mean you're a good therapist. It's a lot of educated dummies out here.
Yes.
It is. So to me, the life experience is so important because it helps you connect and you can see it and see deeper into people.
Yes.
They may be just had and stuff, but you like, it's there.
But see, I'm going to tell you what set me aside from other therapists and other doctors in this field. It's because I got that associates in mental health counseling. I got that bachelor's in psychology.
Yep.
What's that? The world stuff, right? That's all the world stuff. Then I went and got that master's in theology so I can understand God's word. And then I got the doctorate in Christian marriage and family counseling. And so that makes me grounded on both levels.
Yes.
And so when you can combine God, which we have lost that foundation in society today, we have lost that foundation of surrounding yourself around God, taking our kids to church, being at Sunday school. Lord God, I remember those days. Oh, we was in church 5 days a week. And then I also remember going to a Baptist church and going to a cabaret at 13. But
smoking cigarettes. My pastor
In the
smoked
basement.
cigarettes out.
You
at
say
the
you're like,
church.
I don't know if I want to be a Baptist.
Oh Lord, oh the good old days.
Yes. But we have distanced ourselves from religion and education. And they start separating that. But you have to, I brought it back together because the work that God has for me, I had to have it on both levels. I couldn't have this one and thrive the way I need to thrive. And I can't have it this way and thrive to help the people in the street that need the help and not going to seek that church lady. They're not going in the church to come talk to you. Or they not come, or the church people not going to go in the street to come talk to you. So you have to be that middle level. So I've experienced it on both sides. And that and people, they laugh at me like, why did you do that? And that's why I did that, because it's important.
That's a good idea.
It's important to be grounded in God, because God put God first. I let him direct me and guide me, because I didn't already guide myself into all those deep troubles in the past. So now I have to let God lead me to all my decisions, to everything that I move forward in now. And that's where I'm at in my life at this point, letting God lead me with the sorority, with the youth, with the kids in the neighborhood, with anybody that pick up the phone and say, I need help. I'm there because that's what God gave me, that helping spirit. I don't care what you need, what you ask for. I guarantee you, if you ask 100 people that I know and they say, if I call her, she got it. She gonna help me no matter what. And that's what God put me here for, to be a helper, to help.
A healing helper. I can relate.
Yes.
So, Dr. Oh, God. So, Teresa, I just want to just tell you, like, I have enjoyed your story, and you did very well, my dear. So, I want to see, is anybody in the chat real quick? Hold on. Okay. We got some shares. Okay, guys, if you have any questions or just want to make some comments, you can put it in the chat. I did not fix my phone, so we're doing the chat tonight. I completely forgot about the phone. But if you have any questions or anything, you can ask them in the chat. So, can you share with me your contact information? How people can contact you if they want to utilize your services?
Yeah, they can contact me through email, lateresajefferson@gmail.com.
Is it up yet?
Yes. And then my phone number, 313-461-4562. I am available.
Oh, there we go.
I am also working on a book.
Okay.
Let's talk about that. I'm working on it because I know who I am and what I can do and what I cannot do. I am not a good writer. I am a doer. And so I procrastinate because when it comes to doing this book. So I've been writing notes down, doing this. I got so many books with all these notes and everything. But I'm working on a book, and it's called Surviving a Marriage While Imprisoned.
Okay.
And so it breaks down the different imprisonments.
Okay.
Domestic violence, sexual assault, mental illness, substance abuse, what else? Being incarcerated. All those things is imprisonments. And it's imprisonments in your mind.
Yes.
And a lot of us don't understand that if you have that baggage and you bring it to a marriage, if you haven't released it, how can you be 100% in that marriage?
That part.
You can't be 100%. If you still holding on to, and I'm going to tell you one area, men think they didn't get raped as a kid because they was 12 and they had sex with a 19-year-old. But you did get raped.
You did.
You did. You was molested.
You was.
They
just thinking they getting some sex at an early age. And, ooh, I'm the man. No, you are being abused.
You were raped. You was being sexually assaulted.
And that's why you're hypersexual as a man, because you're operating in your wounding. I keep telling people that.
Yes.
Give me some control.
That's one of those biggest things that men think, oh, no, that's what we supposed to do. No. You're supposed to be a youth. You're supposed to be a kid.
Yes. And that don't involve no sex at 12 years old.
You should be learning how to write in cursive, which they took out of the school system.
Oh my God.
Don't let me start with the school system.
I guess our kids gonna be doctors because their handwriting is like
terrible.
No, I am glad you said that, because I have said that for years. Like in my journey of dating, like guys would be serial cheaters.
Of course.
And then, so me being me, were you abused as a child?
What's wrong with you?
No, I would ask them,
And
were you, and come to find out, they did not look at it as abuse. Like one person said that his 14-year-old babysitter, he's like 7 or 8, is fucking his little pee-pee. And I'm like, what? But he's like, you know.
It was supposed to happen. No, it wasn't.
Yes.
Because that messed with you mentally.
Yes.
And now that you think it's okay to just have 1,000 girlfriends, or you think it's okay not to be faithful, or you think it's okay, you just think out when all those traumas happen, you holding on to it.
Yeah.
You just holding on to it. Or the child that their parents is an alcoholic and they drinking constantly, and they doing good at school and everything, but when it's time to get into relationships, they looking for that same thing that they was raised in.
Yep.
They not going to go outside the box. They looking for somebody that's going to be unattended.
Yep.
They're going to be drinking, and they're going to be partying. Then they're going to sit back and say, "Why me? How did I get myself into this situation?"
And that's the avoidant person. So the child becomes an anxious person growing up with the alcoholic parent, and the parent is an avoidant, and then they end up going because that's their comfort.
That's their comfort zone.
That's their comfort. And that's a lot of people don't realize too, is that like with kids, like say for instance, kids in the foster care system.
Yes.
They may be in homes where bad things are happening to them, but because it was their normal in their other home, in their real, like,
they're not going to say anything.
They're not going to say anything because that's normal to them. Yeah. And that right there is why it's important, to me, it's important to, we need to put counseling, make it a class or an hour in school or something. Everybody got to make it a big group session, something to give the kids an outlet to where they can talk and share, and then also where they can get educated about abuse and things like that, so they know what to look for and protect themselves. Like, it's so many classes that would be more relevant in school than the stuff they got. Stuff that I ain't never used.
I tell you what, that new math, they don't know how to do that.
Oh, they can keep that new math. I hate it.
I hate the new math because these kids don't know how to count. We in the store, we give them a $10 bill, and they trying to figure out how to give you 80 cents back.
They drawing some boxes. Hold on. Now, the new math is terrible. So, but yeah, it's a lot. We could do another show, girl. It's so many layers. We could we gonna do a therapeutic show and put you back on the agenda. Cause we speak the same language. So
yes, because it's so much. Just in life in general, we go through so many things daily, and how many times do you? I bet nobody else that's watching this show. How many times do you do self-care?
I don't know.
When was your last self-care day?
Oh, this weekend.
You got it. Like your self-care. Self-care is just taking time to get your nails done, taking time to get a pedicure, taking time to get a massage, just going to a coffee shop and sitting there and just being by yourself or having a date. That's that self-time.
Like, you gotta be alone sometimes. You can't always just be going around people. Sometimes you got need some quiet.
Self-care is important. It's very important. They like, you always gone. I said, I'm gonna make sure I get my self-care because I gotta be rejuvenated for the next big wham.
Yep.
I gotta help other people, and if I'm not ready to help other people and I'm still holding on to something, and it's draining me.
So when you doing your therapy sessions, it's like you're taking on other people's trauma all day. Every single day, 365 days a year, you taking on somebody else's trauma. So you have to find that space for you. That's a lot to carry every day for people. To me,
all counselors should have a time.
And all counselors should have a therapist.
All counselors should have a therapist, and all of them should have self-help,
Yep.
self-care days.
Yep.
Once a month, twice a month. If you can't do that, but get away for a weekend or overnight, go someplace and just relax and let go.
Yep. That should be a question like that clients ask the therapist, like, do you have a therapist? And if they say no, they be like, oh, I need a new therapist. Seriously, because some people think that they just know it all or got it all.
No, you cannot, as a therapist, you cannot carry all that weight without releasing it.
Yeah.
And you got to release it in a safe zone.
Yeah.
And what's the safe zone if you don't have another counselor that's
Yeah.
certified and bound like you are?
Yeah, because it's a lot. It is a lot. Time is flying by. It is 7:50. So, because I was late. Sorry, y'all.
I bet my family or my friends would think that I was late, but I wasn't.
No, she was on time. No, it was me. So, so real quick before we end, I want to. What is we're going into September. No. Oh, we're still in August. Okay.
Yes.
So next week, guys, we are going to have the organization My Side come on and share about their resources. So they'll be here. So join me next Thursday at 7 p.m. live on YouTube and Facebook as I am joined by the organization called My Side. And then I would like to tell you guys how to help support the channel. So, love, like me on social media. So, Life Essentials, The Self-Healer's Journey. Go on there, love, like, subscribe on YouTube is Life Essentials, The Self-Healer's Journey on YouTube. You can follow me also on TikTok. I have Life Essentials, The Self-Healer's Journey on TikTok. In the comments, if you have something positive to share it in the comments. You can chime in when somebody did comment. Hold on. Oh, that was a different post. Okay. I thought somebody commented I just missed. Okay. But comment in the post, give some positive feedback. Somebody might need it. Then also to financially support the channel, all proceeds go to funding the Life Essentials podcast and also towards Winning Touch Advocacy Agency resources to help support victims of domestic violence and intimate partner violence safely start their healing journeys. So you can send funds to Life, LIFEESS podcast through Cash App if you want to financially support the channel. But if you do not, you can like, love, share, and comment, and I greatly appreciate it. So once again, we are going to be here next Thursday at 7 p.m. We'll be on time with My Side. And then, Dr. Jefferson, I just want to tell you thank you so much. I enjoyed you. I enjoyed your story.
Yes, anytime.
And I would love to have you back. So we'll off air, we'll schedule that.
Okay.
I just love to have you back. And thank you to your dear husband for joining us. So, and being her support. So guys, I will see you next week live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Good night.
Good
Say
night.
good night.
Good night.